had about 10 minutes to figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you are Sound Paranormal and you are
Yes.
from where again?
We are located in Knoxville, Tennessee. I am actually a Pacific Northwest girl living in the East Tennessee world.
Oh, that's cool. And what got you guys into the paranormal and like to start your own group and everything?
So we're not actually a paranormal group, which is kind of interesting. I started back in the early 2000s, back in Seattle, Washington. I ran Seattle Ghost Hunters for a while. And then I was in a catastrophic car accident that actually fractured two of my vertebrae. And so
Oh,
I can walk and everything, but I am pretty much in excruciating back pain all of the time. So I have pretty much downshifted from investigating to just telling stories. And I'm actually a romance author by day. That's
oh,
my
that's
day job.
awesome.
And so I started writing books, and we have right now the only one we have out is Paranormal by Region, East Tennessee edition,
Oh,
but
that's
we are
cool.
working on Middle Tennessee edition right now.
And is that available on Amazon or anything? Or
It is available on Amazon, but you're not going to find it any less expensive than if you buy it directly from us at www.soundparanormal.com.
okay, perfect.
But I do have some stories, so I do have some things that have happened. So I do have some
Okay.
personal firsthand accounts, and I have plenty of stories to tell.
Well, that's good. That's good. Let's start with something I guess that sticks out to you.
So I go to a lot of haunted locations to research the book, and every once in a while I have something happen at one of those locations. So one of those things is I was at Brushy Mountain Penitentiary here in Petros, Tennessee,
Okay.
and I was sitting in my car at the time, which was a 2013 Jeep Patriot, and I was parked in front of the prison, and I was waiting for other people to arrive, and it just kind of started sprinkling a little bit of rain, and I kid you not, something grabbed the antenna of the Jeep, bent it halfway down, and let it go, and it was doing this.
Oh,
And I was like looking around because it had barely started to rain. It was not raining heavy enough to get it to
right.
bend at that angle. And there were no birds, nobody was there. And I legit felt like it was either like a prison guard being like, "What are you doing here?"
Okay. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
yeah, so um, other
Did you
than
end up
that,
going inside there or?
I have been inside, and the second thing that I had happen while my boyfriend and I were taking the self guided tour, we walked into the cafeteria, and I had this splitting pain in the side of my head that it was like literally it was like out of nowhere and just kind of a flash of pain enough to make me stop and him turn around and go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know, that I just had like this pain in my head." And the very
Wow.
first thing that I walked up to was one of the historical placards talking about how an inmate took a hammer to the head in line waiting for chow.
Oh. So
Yeah,
you think, in that sense, you think maybe that entity or that spirit or whatnot was trying to make you feel what they felt.
possibly. I don't have an explanation for it,
Wow,
but
that's
it's never happened
crazy.
since.
Did you end up seeing anything, like any full body apparitions or anything
I
like
have
that at
not
that
seen
place?
anything at I have not seen anything at Petros, Tennessee. However, it is in our book. It's one of the first stories in our book. And they have their own paranormal group there, End of the
Okay.
Line Paranormal, and I can possibly see if I can't get their email for you and have them contact you at some point. But
Okay.
Jamie Brock and End of the Line Paranormal operate full time out of Brushy Mountain, and they also do paranormal tours on the regular and overnight ghost investigations at a fairly reasonable price.
That's pretty cool.
So it is more of a commercial location, but they do sell my book there at their gift shop, which I'm really happy about. And
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, we have a pretty good relationship. And as for seeing things, I did see something at Waverly Hills Sanatorium
Oh, wow. Okay.
in Louisville, Kentucky. Now I've been there twice. The first time was in April 2 or 3 years ago. The second time was the following July, like a year later, or a year or two
Right.
later. And the first time I went, I happened to be standing there talking to one of the tour guides. and we were in the fourth floor hallway. And the fourth floor has a lot of activity because, unfortunately, at the end of Waverly's tenure as a sanatorium hospital, it was also being utilized. It was not supposed to be utilized for an old folks home past like the first or second floor, and they actually had people locked up and in horrible squalid conditions on that fourth floor. And we were talking, and I saw a shadow figure lean out of a doorway and look up the hallway at us, kind of go back in, come out for a second look, and then go back in. And I was like, I just saw movement. And she's like, oh, yeah, that'll happen. And I took off and I went into the room, and we're 4 stories up. There was no way in or out of that room unless you took a
Okay.
4 story drop out the window.
Oh,
There was nothing in that room, but I saw a person lean out and look at us, kind of come back, look at us again, and then go back.
that's awesome. Did you try to like do any EVPs or anything to contact them to see like who it was or anything like
No, I
that?
didn't try any investigative measures because I was just on a tour that night. I
Oh,
have
okay.
had some success
And
with
during a tour, they
investigative.
don't allow you to do this kind of thing, you mean?
They do. Waverly does allow investigative measures, but they do ask that you don't do any flash photography because they have a colony of sky puppies, bats that live in the. So they ask for no flash photography or lighting
Oh,
to preserve the bats that are sometimes in there. We did get to see a sky puppy on the tour. He was in the stairwell on the wall.
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. Okay, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen or came across any children ghost or what you would perceive to be a child ghost?
So not personally, no. I have encountered psychokinetic energy coming from a teenager. So poltergeist
Can you
activity.
explain that a little bit? Or
So psychokinetic energy and poltergeist activity, a lot of people mistake poltergeist activity as coming from an outside entity when it's actual psychokinetic energy coming from a person. And so, what we encountered back in my early days working with Seattle ghost hunters is there was a young woman in her early, I want to say mid to late teens, I think 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that range.
okay,
She wasn't quite 18 yet. She was still living in her house with her mother. And she called us because she was afraid to be in the house because they were experiencing poltergeist activity, growling and knocking on the walls, bedclothes being snatched off, you're just general poltergeist activity.
right, of course.
And so she called us in, and I pretty much pegged it for the kind of activity that was definitely psychokinetic and not poltergeist entity activity when she took us in to deal with her mother. And her mother was sitting on the bed, and I cannot put too fine a point on how narcissistic this woman was. She
Okay,
had her own portrait hanging above the bed that she was sitting in, like her own a portrait, a painting, an
right,
actual painting of herself above the
okay.
bed. And she was putting lotion on, and she was like, well, I don't believe in any of this. And as we're standing there talking to her, it literally sounded like two rabid raccoons and a bomb went off in the middle of the room.
Oh,
Like
wow.
they were going at it. And I pretty much was like, ding, ding, ding. It's probably not an entity. It's that mom and daughter are not getting along. And this daughter is so suppressed and frustrated by her mother that this activity is starting up around her as a result, because that's what you see with psychokinetic activity. There was a very well documented case in California at one point where a preteen or early teen girl, her parents died in a car accident, and she went to live with her grandparents, and they had a lot of water activity. The faucets were turning on and off on their own. They had bottles and canned goods from self preserves and that the lids were popping off, but there was no fermentation. They would have it tested, and there was no rancid smell. They were just exploding and popping off. And one
Wow.
of the reasons that she was there, and one of the things she was frustrated about, was her parents had gone off the road into a body of water. And so all of
Um,
this activity was water based.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
It was
crazy
a
how that
very,
worked. I wonder if maybe the parents came back to be with her and had something to do with that at that same time.
It could be, but after she got therapy and started really working through it, the activity, and she grew out of it. Basically, the activity stopped when she started getting help. So,
Okay.
but it was a very well documented case. It was a long time ago, though. I think it was like in the 80s that happened.
Wow. That's a pretty cool story, though. Let me ask you this question. I actually came across this on social media recently, and it's a question that I want to start implementing into our show as well. Now, I'm sure you believe in residual haunts, right? Like
Oh yeah, we
where,
get a lot of residual hauntings here in Tennessee.
right,
We get
where
a
lots
lot.
of people's houses are haunted, people, old owners that used to live there,
I have one here.
whoever, okay, whatever the reason may be, right? Now, the question lies here. Let's say that house is demolished.
Yes,
Is that spirit still there?
we
Or does
do
that
have a
spirit get let
case in
go?
we have a case in Middle Tennessee where the hotel is no longer standing. It is now a bank building, but the haunting is still there.
Really?
It's attached to the land, not the building. Yes. That is the Maxwell House Hotel. You can find
Okay.
it in most haunting books, and that the Maxwell House Hotel burned down in 1969. However, the haunting associated with it continues to this day in the building that is there now. And what it was there were two brothers that were involved with the same girl, and one of the brothers lost his shit one night and murdered them both. And then he was trying to take them down the stairwell of the Maxwell House Hotel. Well, it was still under construction. The stairwell couldn't handle his weight or the weight of the people the bodies he was dragging down. It collapsed and he died too. Yeah, and so there to this day they still have sounds of a row going on, an argument, a fight. He ended up, I believe, stabbing them to death. And there is still the sound of like the stairwell collapsing, and lights tend to flicker on and off in the building. There's electrical disturbances in the building.
Wow. That's kind of sad. And it's interesting in a way, but it's sad in another way because it kind of seems like even in the afterlife, you're still in that same situation. You don't have
Yeah.
a way to get out of it.
Yes. And I apologize. I do have a cat that really hates that when I talk on the phone, and she
Oh,
likes to get
that's
involved.
okay. It's actually a cool cat.
So this is Pandora. She is sassy.
Hi,
Yes,
Pandora.
I am on the phone. You got to go.
Let me ask you that. Do you have anything in your house that you live at now that you think your cat may see? Because I've had a lot of people
Yes,
say that, hey, listen,
yes,
my
we
cat
have.
sees lots of things and reacts to things that I don't see myself.
Yes, Freya and Pandora have both. Freya, Pandora, my God, girly pop, off you go. Um, Pandora and Freya will stare at one end of the couch and just kind of stare off into the archway that leads back into the dining room and that.
Okay.
We've also had them really interested in like upstairs, and they just stop and stare. And we have figured out that I call him Mr. Henry, and I figured out his name from talking to one of the neighbors across the street. There was an older couple 3 owners back that he used to work for KUB, which is Knoxville Utility Board, is one of the electrical workers in the
Yeah.
area, electrical utility workers. Um, and he owned the house with his wife, and his wife got so infirm, but she was so adamant about keeping the house clean and keeping the house nice that she would get one of those rolling things that mechanics work on, and would roll around the house and in the garden with it to pull weeds and dust
Okay.
the baseboards and things like that. So
Yeah.
when we moved in, the first thing we knew that something was here is my roommate at the time was like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, What do you mean? What did I do?" And he's like, You know that shit freaks me out." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You opened every single cupboard door and drawer in the kitchen and left it open for when I got up this morning." And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And he's like, "Yeah, you did. And it was a fucked up thing to do. You know, this shit freaks me out." And I'm like, "I didn't do it." And he thought for sure, like, I did it. And
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, "No, homie, I certainly did not." And so that was my first clue that we had something. And
Oh, sure.
after talking to one of my neighbors across the street who's lived in the neighborhood for about 20 years, she said that the couple that lived in the house 3 or 4 owners back, that he did die in the house, and that she liked to keep a very clean home and like on top of things. And so we figured out that it was probably him, and that he was basically showing appreciation for new owners being in the home and taking care of the place.
Right. As long as it's not trying to harm somebody, that's
No,
really what you gotta, that's what you're looking at. They're not taking the plates out and throwing them at somebody or something like that, you know?
no, no, it's never been that way. It really hasn't. We've just had occasional light flickers, and just the cats staring intently in one area
Yeah.
of the house.
Okay.
So,
Do you have any new places that you're going to investigate anytime soon or?
I actually am. I've gotten several requests from local friends of mine that we go back out to Greenwood Cemetery. That's only about 7 minutes from my house on Tazewell Pike or Tazewell Pike. It was on. It was featured on an episode of Paranormal Caught on Camera,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
so yeah, so they were like, "Can we go? Can we go?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will take you guys out there, and I will help you." So I've got to gear up for that, and I do have plenty of equipment. I have a FLIR thermal camera, imaging camera, and a few. I've got an old EMF detector, like the old school needle ones that you
Oh,
can't get
really?
anymore.
Do
Yeah,
you
it's a
believe that
relic.
those would be more accurate or less accurate?
They are more accurate.
That's what I thought. Things they
Yeah,
make nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
I
I
don't
believe
trust the
in
digital display
older
ones as much as
technology.
this. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. That sounds exciting, though. I bet you're looking forward to that.
I am. I am. One of them is definitely a scared 14-year-old. Just to see how that goes.
Oh,
But
geez.
I've also been out to Drummond Bridge, which was the haunting there is one of the center is the coal mine wars. The East Tennessee coal mine wars is took
Oh,
center
okay.
stage for that one. It was a gentleman. I can't even say gentleman. He was a 19-year-old kid
Oh,
named Richard Drummond, and he got into a they got into a fight. It was a riot basically between Tennessee militiamen and the coal miners. And he happened to be flirting with the leader of the Tennessee militiamen's wife. And what ended up happening is one of the militiamen ended up being killed by one of the coal miners, and they immediately snatched up Richard Drummond, and he didn't even get a trial. They lynched him. And they lynched him off of this old Civil War era railroad bridge. And so to this day, you can supposedly, when you go out there at night, hear him choking and twisting in the wind.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it's a residual as far as I know.
Right.
But yeah, we've got a lot of stories out here in East Tennessee. We've got more than just ghosts. We have plenty of cryptids out here too.
Cryptids. Can you explain that for me? Like, is that something more like some type of
Like
like a taller creature, right?
Bigfoot, Mothman. We have what I think might be a rake or cave crawler in the Bearden Elementary area. There have been legends of something called the Wampus Cat. We have something we didn't even have a name for, but it was like this 2.5 foot like gargoyle gremlin creature that was
That'd
spotted
be a
out in.
pukwudgie.
No, I call it the Wares Valley. What the fuck?
Okay.
Like, it's in Wares Valley, and we don't know what the fuck it is.
Okay.
But it was
It
a
doesn't look like a pukwudgie?
I don't think it does. It was the description of it was very gargoyle like small creature with glowing red eyes, which does not match up with a pukwudgie.
Oh, okay.
Pukwudgie
Because it
is
sounded like what
extreme.
you were describing to me as a pukwudgie to begin with.
Yeah, and this one has different slightly different physiology, and pukwudgies are more up north. So
Oh, they are?
yeah,
I
pukwudgies are
did not
more
know
in.
that.
They're more like New England. They're more like Massachusetts, I think.
Okay.
And so down here, we have a lot of Bigfoot. In fact, we have so many Bigfoot sightings in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park that when I went and started asking them at the Sugarlands Visitor Center, they didn't even deny it. They said, no, we have it, but it's mostly on the North Carolina side of the border. Like they just flat out said, oh, yeah, we have Bigfoot here, but most of the times that we get sightings or most of the times we get activity, it's on the North Carolina side of the border. They did not even try and deny it.
Oh, wow.
And that was coming from a National Park Service worker.
Right. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
I believe in all that. I believe in, I mean, come on, think about it. It's just if you really think about the logistics, or not logistics, but the stature, right? Of, I
Right.
don't care if you call him Bigfoot, I don't care if you call him Sasquatch, I don't care what you call him.
We
It's
have a lot
it's
of names
basically
for
just a
them.
big gorilla.
Mm, kind of. I honestly think that it's kind of whatever is between primate and human. I come from the Pacific Northwest. I actually know the nephew of one of the gentlemen that shot the Patterson Gimlin film. That's how Pacific Northwest I am. I mean, one of the band members of Nirvana used to work for my stepdad out in
Oh,
Aberdeen.
wow.
So yeah, like I am so quintessentially Pacific Northwest. It's crazy, and there are a lot of stories out of the Pacific Northwest about Bigfoot. Out here, we have things called the I want to say Sugarland or Sugar Road monster. We have the Flintville monster, which almost sounds like an albino Bigfoot. We have the swamp squatch of Winchester in Middle Tennessee. That's one that we're researching right now.
Okay.
There's all kinds. And then when you get more towards Georgia, more towards Florida, you get the skunk apes. But they're all pretty much fall under that same category of some form or type of Bigfoot.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So yeah,
Like
Sound
I said,
Paranormal covers
I've
just
never
about
seen
everything.
anything, but I definitely believe.
I haven't seen anything cryptid wise, but I'm mostly the ghost girl of our little dynamic duo. My
I'll tell you a story cryptid wise. I don't know if this would be a cryptid, or my wife and I, we were on a vacation. I think it was Virginia Beach.
No, it was Daytona.
Daytona Beach.
Daytona.
Okay, we were on a
Daytona, okay,
vacation at
Florida.
Daytona Beach. It was one of those two because those are the two that we like to favor a lot. Anyways, we were at Daytona Beach and it was our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And the back of our hotel that we were at has like a fenced in place where like the pool is and like some chairs to sit in. But you can't go down to the actual beach in the dark, like at nighttime. You're not allowed
Right,
to because they ran us off. The police ran us off. They
right.
wouldn't let us stay. I don't know why, but they did.
The high tide as well.
But anyways, we were standing at the back. We were having I think a coffee or something. We don't drink alcohol, so we were having, I don't know, maybe like an ice cap or something. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking amongst each other. The reason I mentioned that specifically is so you know that we were not in an altered state of mind.
Right.
Okay, we were clear minded. It was 9 o'clock at night. It wasn't 3 o'clock in the morning. We weren't half asleep. Okay, we were wide awake, and we seen this thing. Okay, I kid you not. I swear I have no reason to lie to you. Walking down the beach, like I wish I could show you. Like it was like
Very tall.
very tall, and it was moving
Yeah.
like its legs. It had to move its leg out
Mm-hmm.
before it can move. My wife's like, "Yo, let's get out of here.
I
Let's
saw
leave.
her.
Let's back up at least a little bit." I said, "No, absolutely not." I got my phone. I tried capturing it.
I saw it on the corner, and I was
Yeah,
like,
no, I don't know what that possibly could be. We haven't really started researching down in Florida much, but if I come across something, I'll definitely let you know if what physiology that fits into. Do you know if it was lizard-like or if it was more
it was
It was
it was white, like very white, long legs,
it
and
was a tall animal, like a
yeah.
tall something or
okay?
another.
But it didn't like look at us. It just kept walking past
For
us.
all I know, it could have been an alien. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Florida does seem to have a lot of alien encounters, partially because NASA's down there, partially. I mean, I don't know if you saw the big thing that happened in I think 2015 with the aliens at the shopping mall. There
what?
was a there's a big
Yes,
conspiracy
yes,
that there were
yes.
like aliens in a shopping mall in Florida.
Aliens at a shopping mall?
Yeah, they
Yep,
surrounded
like the entire
yeah.
shopping mall was evacuated and everybody was panicking that
Mhm.
it was like an active shooter, but it wasn't. It was these 10 to 15-foot tall aliens that were walking through the shopping mall and scaring the hell out of everybody. It was like this big thing on TikTok and everything.
Oh
It
gosh.
was all over the
Yeah.
news. I
Yeah,
remember
but-
that.
I do
I want
not.
to say it happened in a mall in Miami.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, that's insane. Is that what Adam was talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
my brother was telling me about
It's
that or
one of those
something.
things that everybody was talking about it, but there was no footage of it. Like nobody got any images of it. It was just a bunch of panicked people that were running out of this mall. and they were showing a huge police presence show up at the mall.
They had a
And
lot
it was
of
like the
police
internet was
there.
scrubbed of
A lot of
everything.
police
They never
surrounding
did
it, yes.
see
Right.
any
Mhm.
footage, but people are swearing to God that are like, I saw
You
this
would-
thing, but
You would think, though, in today's world, everybody grabs their phone out of their pocket. You would think
Right?
one person would have caught something or another.
right?
I don't know.
But
That's
yeah,
weird.
there's like absolutely no footage of it, but it's I want to say it was like I don't know, it was in a Miami mall. I remember that, but it was like the Lakeland Mall incident or something like that.
Mhm.
I got to look into that for sure. I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to research
Yeah.
that just to see for my own self, you know?
I remember.
So, and who knows what that lady potentially saw on that airplane? She was saying, I know that that's not human. She could have been on something really good, but there's been a plenty of viral videos in that. I know for a fact that the viral 911 call out of what it was Eastern North Carolina, that one sounds like it was a solid cave crawler. We
What
get a
was
lot
that
of those
about?
out here. Cave crawlers look a lot like a rake. They are gray, elongated limbs, very toothy. You do not want to encounter one. Yeah, it's not good.
Oh,
It's not good.
geez.
If you look up rake, R-A-K-E,
Mhm.
you can sometimes find videos on. If you can look up cave crawlers, they're humanoid-ish beings that live in the cave systems. And
Okay, so it's probably just more something, maybe, yeah, it would be considered paranormal to us, but maybe just more something that we just haven't really discovered yet.
there are also legends of the Moon-Eyed people from Cherokee legend out of Western North Carolina, how there was an entire different race of people in Appalachia that the Cherokee ended up going, they were called the Moon-Eyed people because they had really, really big eyes and they could not come out of the caves during the day. And they apparently got into a big war with the Cherokee and the Cherokee killed them all off. That's
Wow.
an entire legend through Cherokee legend
I
about the
believe
Moon-Eyed
it.
people.
I believe it, especially if there was a small amount of them and a lot of the Cherokees, they probably just said,
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what happened to tip off their war, but yeah,
right.
the legend has it that the Cherokee people wiped them out. And so,
Okay.
but there's also like petroglyphs in caves that kind of back the story up too. So,
Okay. All right. You seem pretty knowledgeable about like paranormal things. So I want to ask you your opinion on this. What is your thought on like not so, yeah, I guess in the sense shadow people, but in the sense that do you believe that there are shadow people, right?
well, yeah,
That
I
have
saw one for
never
myself
lived
at
before,
Waverly.
that have never lived before, not like a spirit of you and me, not somebody that used to live there, just something from a completely different realm.
And the answer to that question is a resounding yes, because we have a known entity in South Tennessee, North Georgia, at the Chickamauga battlefield known as Old Green Eyes. Whatever Old Green Eyes is very shadow person-esque with glowing green eyes, and it predates anything Civil War related. It is Legend of Cherokee, and in fact, part of the lore about Chickamauga is that the area that battle was fought on was actually known as Bloody River and a bad place before the Civil War battle ever even took place there.
Oh,
So
wow.
Old
Okay.
Green Eyes is a legend out here that people have seen. They have seen him driving through. He has appeared as a shadow person with glowing green eyes. He has also appeared as like a wizened, ancient-looking individual with wild and crazy hair, and sometimes he's only appeared as a floating head. He is not fun. He is not something you want to encounter.
Right.
But he has also never been human. He's never been alive and as a human. He is some
Right. You
kind
would
of
think that,
elemental
yeah.
spirit. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
I do
very interesting. And
100%
where
believe.
is he supposed to be at?
He's at the Chickamauga battlefield in south East Tennessee and North Georgia, because the
Okay.
battlefield spans both over the state line. So it's down on the low ground, and then you also have Lookout Mountain, and there's the Confederate soldier that used to send signals with a mirror and or lantern at night. And so you can be driving down 75, and if you see a flash of light coming from the side of Lookout Mountain, that is actually a ghost. That is a Confederate soldier that starved to death there because he got trapped on the side of the mountain, couldn't go up because the Union had taken over and couldn't get down from his position. And he just kept sending signals by mirror and by lantern light to his Confederate homies, diming out all of the Union information that he was overhearing.
Aw, that's really sad.
Yeah. But
Wow.
same area, Lookout Mountain, Chickamauga. I have reason to believe, and I theorize that Old Green Eyes has also been seen at Old Harriman Hospital, which is a paranormal location that is open for investigation here in East Tennessee.
So he moves around then. He's not at the same,
Well,
he
that's
doesn't
the
stay at the
interesting
same
part,
place.
because Old Harriman Hospital was built on what was part of the Chickamauga battleground
Oh, okay.
in the same region, in the same area. So it's at Old South Pittsburgh in Tennessee is what it's called. That's the town, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Okay.
And it closed down in the 90s, and it's been open for paranormal investigation and research.
How far is Tennessee from South Carolina, if you don't mind me asking?
We actually touch South Carolina.
Oh, okay, because we're
East
moving to South
Tennessee touches
Carolina
North
in
Carolina
like 2
and
months.
a little bit of South Carolina, mostly North Carolina, but we're right there.
Okay,
right
so
there.
we're going to be neighbors soon then.
Yes. Yes.
That's
In
very
fact, I
exciting.
am excited if you're going anywhere in South Carolina. You've got plenty of really good haunted locations in South Carolina. Charleston is beautiful and is
Yeah, that's
especially
where we're
haunted.
going. We're going right to Charleston, actually.
Yeah, Charleston is beautiful, very haunted. You actually have a rich history in Charleston. They have the USS Hunley there, which was the first submarine ever.
Oh,
It was a
wow.
Confederate submarine, and they did find it, and they did find that all of its crew were still on board, and they found their bones and interred them at Magnolia Cemetery.
Oh,
And they interred them right near the maker of the USS Hunley, Hunley himself. So,
right.
but
Wow.
yeah, Charleston has a great, rich history of ghosts and hauntings, and you're only going to be 2 hours, I think, away from Savannah, Georgia, which is notoriously haunted.
Oh,
Beautiful state.
absolutely. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Savannah.
Yeah, and
And how far is
I have to
Charleston
say
from
that
where you're at?
lucky, huh?
How far is Charleston from where you're at?
Charleston is about 6.5 hours from me.
Okay, that's
not
not
bad.
too bad. If
No.
I wanted to come check out that place that you're taking them people to.
Oh yeah, the cemetery in that, the Petros, Tennessee, I would definitely go to Brushy Mountain when they're open. There's
Okay.
also historic Old Scott County Jail up in Huntsville, Tennessee. It's up on the
Huntsville,
northern
yeah.
border of Kentucky. There's Old Harriman Hospital that's in Harriman, about an hour and a half, hour and a half from me. And then you also have Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. They're owned by the same paranormal research teams.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's a lot of haunted places between in here, and honestly, Louisville is really not terribly far. It's only like 3.5, 4 hours from here, and
Oh, wow.
that's where Waverly Hills Sanatorium is. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it has been a great episode. Unfortunately, I have to cut it here because I am within like 4 minutes of recording time. Unfortunately,
absolutely,
Zoom only gives me a certain amount of time to record these things. I have to get a
Yeah.
professional account eventually, which will allow me, I think, like an hour or something. I don't know.
yeah.
But
So
anyways,
if anybody's interested, I'm going to be at the next big thing I'm going to have spooky wise is I will be at Ravens Vale Podcast Network's Appalachian Horror Fest in the second weekend in October.
okay.
Tickets are on sale now for that, and I will have copies of Paranormal by Region East Tennessee edition. I will have copies of my cemetery art, and yeah, so
That is awesome. Awesome. It has been great having you on the show. As soon as I get this spun down and uploaded, I will get you the link.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a good night.
You too.